And what is time? What is life? Roy, well now, if you had a glimpse into the meaning of life, what is the meaning of life that you've seen through your glimmer? Mrs. Worth, laughter, love, and courage, and all those old-fashioned words which you don't hear often nowadays, but still have a very, very real meaning. Roy, George Harrison, who's one of the Beatles, says in an article, I'm probably going to turn back to Christianity because I've found in all these other things that I've looked into what they don't have the answer I'm looking for. What I want to know is, what are we doing here? What is the meaning of being alive as a human being? If you've had a glimpse beyond, what do you think the meaning of being here is for self-conscious human beings? Mrs. Worth, God made me to know him and love him and serve him in this world and to be happy with him forever in the next. Roy, but that's a straight quote from the catechism. Now come on. Mrs. Worth, but it's part of me. It's what I... Roy, put that in your own words. Mrs. Worth, God is... Roy, come on. Try and make it make sense. What is the meaning of being alive, being a human being? Mrs. Worth, when you fall in love, you can't talk. You just burble about your beloved. When you write a great poem, sometimes it doesn't come out in words. When you write great music, you can't ask me to say in words all of that. God is, and we belong to God. And God is all truth, all beauty, and God is love. Roy, and are you really saying that the meaning of being a human being is simply knowing and loving God? Mrs. Worth, when the young man says, darling, I love you, marry me, and they get married, they're married for life, till death do us part. They don't go on saying, I love you, I love you, I love you all the time. They live it. And if this is Christianity, this is living Christ, you're Christ's man, you have to be either Christ's, or you have to show forth Christ in your own life, and you have to love and serve Christ in others. And you don't do this by thinking it or by saying it, you do it by being it. And you see, this is where perhaps, who am I to say, God forgive me, where the breakdown has come. The scientific development which so far outstripped the philosophical development that was said in 1920. Well, which of our old holies has latched onto this and done something about it? Only the nameless ones, the unknown ones, the ones known to Christ and none others, you see. And I do feel we give far too much importance to the intellectual side of life and doing, where intuition, instinct, and feeling, and providing you use your brain as you should, you can feel your way to Christ just as valiantly as thinking your way to him. Roy, one last question. Rather a mundane question, and you'll probably be angry with me when I say this, I've often thought about when my turn comes to die. I would like to kiss my wife and children goodbye, still able to walk, still able to laugh, and say, now goodbye, cheerio, and then leave them and disappear. And I have a secret little plan in mind that I will go on to a particular place that I know of, a long, long way from them, where I would have friends. And I would say, right, I've come here to die, you look after me. They look after me. I die. But my wife and children, you're laughing at me now, but my wife, Mrs. Worth, you remind me of an elephant. That's what the elephants do. Roy, well, you say I remind you of an elephant, but because I felt I don't want these people I love around me when I go, a bit peculiar in the head or go in a coma and all that sort of stuff. Mrs. Worth, our Lord carried his cross to Calvary, and his mother followed him. And she was the sort of mother who would stand at the foot of the cross when her son was crucified. And he was the sort of son who would let her. And what more perfect love and what more perfect understanding could there be than that? And can't you let us do the same? Can't we love each other in that way? In him? Roy, so you will want around you those people whom you love most. Mrs. Worth, I haven't really thought about it, but I'll be very glad to leave it to God. For all I know, I might drop dead on a bus amidst strangers. Why worry? Roy, oh yes, but what if you can make plans for it? Mrs. Worth, I think that making plans is very dangerous. I'll go on sweeping the corridor.